Welcome, James Carter with COVE Paddleboards. This is the Explorer 11’6. There are two models you can find on the website. One is called Blue Line. This is essentially a blue sidewall. The other one's called Gray Line, essentially gray sidewall. They're designed to be a very versatile, stable 11'6" board and 32 inches wide and about 6 inches of depth. So that gives a total of about 240 liters of volume, which makes for a very stable platform for beginner through intermediate paddleboarders. But we also wanted to be able to offer something that would offer a little more versatility for people as they got more advanced. So as you walk back on the board, you'll notice it does taper quite a bit, and that allows you to change direction quite quickly and to navigate in waves and also be able to sink the tail a bit in a larger wave, which is always good. So in terms of what you'll see on the back, it has a three fin package. It's a little more advanced than what you see with some of the more entry-level boards. So it does use a US fin, which has a profile to it. It's also very rigid, so you can't bend it at all. And it's essentially a foil-style design. So it will give you some performance, as well as great tracking ability. Additionally, we have these two side fins. Same thing, they'll offer a little bit more tracking ability. Also, if you do manage to get it into the waves and on a wave, the side fins are really useful for that as well. And finally, these are quite malleable. And so if you take off the center fin, if you are on a river, we'd definitely recommend taking off the center fin. These can take quite a bit of abuse in a river, so if you're coming in contact with rocks and that sort of thing, that's just fine, and so it gives you some other options there as well. In terms of what else we've done on the deck here, if we have a quick look at this, you can see you have your 6 D-rings up at the front, which gives you quite a bit of room for luggage storage, as well. There's an additional 4 here, and inside the package you'll have an additional, inside your knapsack will come with an additional some additional shock cord for that as well. So most of the time people are going to not want that there, but if you are kind of going on a longer trip, then you can use it as well. And then importantly, the valve rating is right up to 20 psi, so these boards are safety tested for 20 psi, and typically what you're looking for in a higher end board is what they call a 2-layer board, which means it's less likely to puncture. Also, you can put your pet on it, and you don't need to worry about getting any punctures as well from that. And it'll be able to run higher pressures, and higher pressures are kind of the key to performance. So there's a lot of gimmicks out there, but really the most important thing to an inflatable SUP feeling kind of rigid and fast is what kind of pressure you can run it at. So yeah, these can run right up to about 20, and certainly reach out to us if you're not sure what pressure to run at for your weight. Typically you will kind of change what pressure you'll run at depending on how heavy you are, etc. Let's have a quick look at the bag, and we'll see what else comes in the bag. So these little things just make sure that your fins are protected when they're packed. So they go in there like that. And always wear your leash. I was speaking with Canadian Coast Guard, and the #1 reason that people on paddleboards get rescued is not because and are in big trouble isn't because they're not wearing a life jacket. It's because they're not wearing a leash, and boards move very quickly in high wind. So always wear your leash. So it comes with a COVE Paddleboard leash. This is a proper leash length for a 10-foot board. Comes with that extra length of shock cord we were talking about. Comes with a patch kit. Unlikely you'll ever need it, but it's there if you do. And it also comes with a small 6-liter dry bag, which is pretty handy to make sure you protect your cell phone, anything else you might want to take with you on the board. The bag we put quite a bit of research and design into, so it does have proper padded shoulder pads, chest strap, as well as wheels. So it gives you a lot of options there in terms of what you're going to do with your board. It does have a little side pocket as well for munchies or water bottles, etc. as well. So yeah, you should be able to get out there and make good use of it. There is some padding here as well. So likely if you're practically, most people would limit their excursions with the paddleboard to about 5 kilometers or so. After that, you're probably getting a little sore. They are a little heavy, but it gives you a little more range than most, I would say. So, and then finally the paddle. So this is a fairly standard kind of entry-level paddle design that you'll see with most paddle boards. There's a few kind of differences though. One is we wanted to make sure we had a flat blade. So certain blades will have kind of like some extra kind of PVC or plastic on the blade. And what that means is if you're trying to do a more kind of complex stroke like a C stroke, which starts, you draw in at the side, at the front, and that brings the board around. And then as you go out, as you pry out at the back, you need to be able to move the paddle through the water like this. So you need a flat blade to do that. So without that, you would certainly have some challenges. So we did make sure that we had a flat blade as well. Common thing with kind of entry-level paddles is that they'll kind of pivot and twist, and so you'll notice there is that groove there, and the groove ensures that you don't get any twisting with the paddle, which makes things a little easier. So you don't need to kind of fight with the cam lock to get it tight enough. And finally, when you're using a paddle, you could just size it up to your wrist, and you're good to go. You did it on purpose. Did it to me last time.